Hi everyone, it's SuNN here. Thanks for joining me for another Monday Makes video. Today I'm using two stamp sets called Sassy Salutations and the Six-Sided Sampler. And I'm going to be using the watercolor from Stampin' Up! Watercolor paper, I should say. And I'm doing a different technique with a acrylic block today. So this is how I cut the watercolor paper, and so I'm going to make two card fronts with it. And I'm just taping it down to my piercing mat. I've taken a couple pieces of paper towel, and I'm using the new Mint Macaron ink pad, and I'm just putting it slightly around the edge, and also a little bit of the Pear Pizzazz ink around the edge. And I just sort of want to make a frame, and this is the acrylic block E. So I'm covering up the center, and I'm giving it a spray on all the four sides. And it's just a very light spray. I don't want too much water. And then right in the middle, I'm just dabbing off the water just to make sure that there's nothing there. So this is similar to the smooshing technique where I am adjusting the, or I'm placing the ink on the paper, and I'm wiggling it sort of to and fro to sort of blend the colors, the two colors together. And I really noticed that these two colors, Mint Macaron and Pear Pizzazz, actually do go nicely together. So you can see in some of the places there wasn't as much water as I wanted. So I've gone, I'm trying to pick up some of the ink from the block, and then I'll actually go ahead and add a little bit more ink and water just to sort of cover it. I just want to make the frame, but I like that splotchy look, but I don't necessarily want it too splotchy. So I think if I had used a brown, the splotchy might lend well to a vintage look, but I just sort of wanted a watercolory wash to this. So I'm doing the technique again just so you can see it. I'm using this time Delightful Dijon, which is a very bright yellow, or dark deep yellow, and also Cajun Craze. And Cajun Craze will overtake the color, so I am being very careful just to add a little. Now I'm sort of dabbing off a little bit of the ink here and there, just to soften the edges. And again, with my mister, I'm just spraying the edge, and I am trying to cover up that middle piece. And I'll go in and dab some of the water, and I'm just sort of blending with my aqua brush the two colors together. So stamping it right on that watercolor paper. And I think there was a little bit more water on this than the first one I did. So I was able to sort of smoosh quite a bit, which I liked. I'm just sort of rocking it back and forth, smooshing it around. And that's the reason why I taped it to the to something. And I like the cushioning of that piercing mat, so that's the reason why I did that. And then I just went in with my aqua brush and a little bit of water. I didn't want to add much more ink. There was enough ink on there. And I just got it to where I was happy with the look. So I fussed around a little bit with it. And then I removed it from the tape, or removed the tape carefully. And I'm using StazOn ink and that Happy Birthday sentiment. And I chose the alcohol ink just because I wanted a nice crisp image, but it doesn't really, stamping on watercolor paper is a little difficult, so I'm really giving it a good sturdy press and sort of holding it there for a bit just to make sure that I get a really nice image. I've taken a lot of time to do that background, so I don't want to mess up the sentiment. So I'm using my Stampin' Majig, and I'm putting that clear plastic piece in there, and I'm using the sentiment My Friend, and I'm just butting it up right underneath that Happy Birthday. And I think it came out pretty well. The fonts seemed to jive, so I was really happy with that. And I did exactly the same thing with the Dijon. So my card bases are Mint Macaron and Delightful Dijon, new in colors for this year, and just using a little bit of fast fuse and adhering the card front to the card base. And I will give that a really good press down because watercolor paper is a little bit rough. And that's pretty much the card for today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next Monday for another Monday Makes video. Have a great week. Bye.